everybody. Thank you for visiting my channel, Scrap and Rabbit. This is Christine. Today I'm going to show you a new style of album that I designed. I've seen lots of people making these gorgeous journals, and I wanted to make a journal, but then I also like having the option of storing photographs and memorabilia in an album. So I decided to do a combination of scrapbook mini album and journal. So this is quite a thick album because of the combination journaling and photos opportunity in here. There are 90 pages for journaling, and then there's a total of 6 base pages for inserting photos in flaps and pockets and that. So let me take you through the album. Starting off with the front cover. This album measures, I think it's about 6.5 inches wide by 9 inches high, and I've got a 4-inch spine on here, so it's quite thick. Now on the front I have these little cabbage carnations that I attached over a die cut border, and I've got some little flat back pearls. Here, these are little flowers that I got from a friend, Sharon. She's at Maddie's Scrapbooking. She makes beautiful albums. You should check out her YouTube channel. That's Maddie's Scrapbooking. And I attached the closure. It's just a chain, a very thin chain that wraps around a brad here. And I made it into a hitch closure. So it's a brad combined with an eyelet underneath, and it gives it that gap that you can wrap either an elastic around, and in this case I used a chain. And then this chain attaches to the back cover like that, and it's just a loop. So it just goes around the brad like that. Now on the side I have one of these book plates, and I put a little piece of pink cardstock in the background, and I matted this. Now the paper that I used is by K & Company. It's called Merriweather, and that's the majority of the paper, but then I did use some other paper I had in my own stash. This paper was in my own stash. On the back I punched an intricate die cut for journaling, or a date on there, and again I've got the border and the little flat back pearls. Let's open the album. Now I'm going to make a tutorial, I think, of this album because it is a little bit different than my other ones. Unless an album is different, I don't really like making tutorials for each of my individual albums, because you're buying instructions for making the same thing. Once you know how to make the flaps and pockets, it's the same for all of the albums. But if the album is constructed a bit differently, then I will make a tutorial and have it available on my shop. This one is a little bit different, and I'll show you why. But first off, here on the inside cover I have a pocket, and I have pullouts. Beautiful paper. All of my pullouts are two-sided, except for the ones in the base page, and I'll show you why. This is another pullout that opens like that, so there's room for photos on here. Now the concept here is that the left side of the album and the pages are for photos. You can also journal there if you want, but it's intended for storing photos. The right side of the album is where you do your journaling. So each of the base pages has one of these little notebooks here that I made. So I'll just open that, and this opens. Again, it's made with the same K & Company paper collection, and on the inside here I used drawing paper because it's not quite as thick as the cardstock. So it's not too bulky, but it is thicker than scrapbook paper, so it's still sturdy enough. So in here there's 15 pages for writing memoirs in there. Now you could also put photos in here if you like, or you can also put photos in there, but the intent here was to have the journaling, the journaling on the right hand side. Now each base page has one of these large pull-out tags. The pull-out tag I just left plain. It's black, So you can put photos on there, but you can also journal on these. And what I did is, here's an example. I used a Sharpie. I have a silver, gold, and bronze. I don't know if you can see that well on the camera, but it comes out really sharp on black. So I thought that would be kind of a neat idea. So I did leave these black. I'm going to sell this album on eBay, so whoever gets the album, if you want to, you could mat it with a white paper if you want to write with pen on there. Now, on the back of the page here is where I put my photos. So I have this little pocket here, and there's a little pull-out, two-sided. And here, there's a little exception here, I put another little booklet. This is just a little mini book. Now you can use this for photos, and you can also use it for journaling if you wanted to. And that slips into this little pocket, like that. Now this is held closed with a magnet, so you can open these like that and put photos on the back. And you can also put photos here. There's lots of room here for photos. I've used quite a few magnets in this album. Now this folds up like that, and room for photos and more photos. Here's the second little booklet. I've got a little strap here that opens like that. And here's where you can write your journaling. And these are all the same, so I'm not going to take them out. I really like this punch. I use it in so many of my albums. I think I'm going to buy myself another one in case my punch ever breaks or just plain wears out. So this is another strap that opens, and in here I've got 3 pockets, and these are just little die cuts, and you can journal on there or you can put little photos on there. So there's 4 of these, and then I've got a larger pull-out up here. You can journal on the back if you want to, but this is meant for photos. Here's the third little journal album. I've got a little spinner on there to hold that closed. And there's another pull-out, a longer one. And this folds up like that. You can journal or put photos there. This page folds to the left, and there's another large pocket here, and I've got 2 more tags inside. And then there's room for another photo in there. Here's the 4th little booklet. So yeah, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 spaces. So there's 90 total. So there's a lot of room for journaling on there. There's another fold up. Now this is a waterfall. I've got little die cut corners. So there's room for pictures, and you can put notes on the back if you want. Or more photos. Here's the 5th little journal. So it's kind of it's a hybrid album. It has 2 purposes. And you can use the pages on the left also to store memorabilia that goes along with your journaling on the right. This held closed like that. This is a little clock hand that I just cut off the end. That was the Tim Holtz clock die. And I just open that. And here's a little pull out. And two more pull-outs. There's lots and lots of room in here. And finally, here's the last little journal. I use lots of my different punches in this album. You can journal on there too. And there's my tag. And then on the back, this opens. I've got a pull out here. Beautiful paper. You can put another photo here on the inside. And here's some more pull outs. A little tag for journaling again. And there's another two. And finally a longer one. And then on the back, I just put this beautiful image and a little ribbon, and that can be used for a photo, or if you want to, you could write some notes on here as well. So I hope you like my album. I will be doing a tutorial, like I said. It takes a while because I haven't started it, but I'm going to base my tutorial on this album, so I'm going to be referring to this one in my videos. And it takes me a while to make my tutorials because I write them and I make them available as a PDF file, but I also include videos because it's so much easier when you can actually see the album being created rather than just trying to read instructions from a PDF file. But I like the PDF file too though, because once you've watched a video, you can just refer to the PDF file in your workshop and you don't have to keep referring back to your computer. Once you've seen a video, you'll remember how to do a step when you look at the instructions in the PDF file, because I've also got lots of images in there. So I hope you like my album, and I will post a notice up when the tutorial is ready if anybody is interested. It'll be available in my shop on my website at www.scrapinrabbit.com, but I will post a video also when it's available. Have a nice day and happy crafting!